Hey guys, welcome back. So now we're getting back into Donny Cates' Hulk with our talks on Smashtronaut Part 4. And with each issue, I'm finding that this series is a lot more fun than what I initially expected. But then again, when you see the name Cates and Otley together, you just hit buy. So let's talk about it. But first, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to catch the spills every week. And don't forget to hit that bell up top so we can squat up in the comments for the first hour. Alright, so recently throughout this Smashtronaut event, we've seen 616 Banner get pulled from the pocket dimension that he had stepped into to another Earth by alternate Bruce Banner. And with this happening, Captain Bruce and this new Bruce, they had a rather in-depth conversation that gave us the backstory of what happened on this Earth, which we recently found out is Earth 122, which I thought before was used in like a Fantastic Four issue or something, but it still could be a thing, might not, I don't know. But in this reality, we're given the history that the Gamma Bomb that Bruce had created, it had been perfect. But with Thunderbolt Ross getting his hands on a perfect Gamma Bomb, he had then turned around and used it on the rest of the world so that no other countries could compete with the United States, because evidently that's what happens when you take Thunderbolt Ross, you give him a successful G-Bomb, and you place him in the seat of President of the United States. But then also it's here where we see that he's gotten a message that Banner's been found in a specific mountain range, or at least they believe it to be him because of the huge gamma signature. And with him seeing this President Ross, he tells his people to send everything out there and also get him a dropship so he can go out there and see it himself, while also telling them to bring the boy, which is something we'll talk about in a little bit. But with this happening, like even in a regular world, it's fairly easy to imagine the shock that the president's staff would be experiencing if he were to just create a war zone and demand to be put right in the middle of it. Like, I just imagine that everybody in line of the order of succession, vice president, speaker of the house, they just looking at each other like, well, our titles are finna change real soon. But then again, that's just classic Thunderbolt Ross, like he would do something like that. But then also it's here where we jump over back to Captain Banner and Banner of Earth 122, and it's here with this Earth's Banner, he's showing Captain Banner more of how things played out on this Earth. With things like Tony Stark, who had pretty much just drank himself to death after the gamma bombs had went off all over the world, because after nearly the entire world is in devastation, nobody needed them, which is probably something that started when the gamma bomb was greenlit. Like as soon as that project was successful, I imagine Thunderbolt Ross, he just hit up Stark Industries and was like, yo, I want to cancel all my bomb orders. But nonetheless, after President Ross had bombed the world, Stark Industries went bankrupt and Tony Stark drank himself into an early grave. But then also on top of this, President Ross had ordered to have the X-Men, the Children of the Atom, all the mutants of this world exterminated, because the way he saw it, the gamma mutates were enough of a threat. And like with the way we're shown this from the Banner of this Earth's archives, like while he's showing this to Captain Banner, like it's kind of crazy because the way it's documented, it's shown like this decision was made quick and that it was a reaction to the sudden outbreak of mutant kind, and the order to wipe out the mutants was just quickly given in order to preserve the safety of the people of the United States. But really, we know, just from what we've seen so far, that this was only President Ross securing his power, and doing so by causing the extinction of the mutant race. But also with Captain Bruce seeing these files and seeing these headlines, he just finds the savagery on Earth 122 just unbelievable. And he asks this Bruce, like, what about the other heroes? What about Blade or Moon Knight or Captain America? And for a moment, he's about to say Spider-Man, but then this Bruce cuts him off and he's like, I haven't heard of any of these people. And when hearing this, it answers the next question, which I assume would be like, do you have Disney Plus? But even still, Captain Bruce is just like, that doesn't even matter, because the Hulk doesn't need anyone. And I tell you right now, it's spoken like a true Smashtronaut. But then this conversation is interrupted by the United States Army, which from what it seems at this point, President Ross has integrated Stark's technology with the US military, which is pretty much what we'd seen him use to attack Xavier's school. And in that case, again, it wasn't like the X-Men versus the military. No, that was just a pop-up extermination. So for the mutants, it wasn't like there was any kind of standoff moment before they were pretty much just wiped out. But for President Ross and this OP army, he's got these super huge Hulkbusters, but Captain Banner is not worried about them in the slightest. And this is what he tells the Banner of this world, because the Hulk has been up against his General Ross a countless number of times, and he's faced large machines and tanks plenty back in the 616. So when he sees this US Army, he just tells this world's Banner like, I got this. So he slaves the Starship Hulk's communications to the other Banners, and he jumps into the fight with the engine room cranked up to 2. But then when he jumps into the fight with President Ross's army, he quickly finds out that they lasers hurt. And it's here for that reason why Captain Banner, he cranks up the engine room from stage 3 to stage 4. which at this point I'm not really sure if anyone's seen the enemy or enemies of this particular stage coming, because it's here for stage 4 where Captain Banner, he brings in Marvel zombies. And when this happens, it almost seems like it's a choice that the Hulk is enjoying a bit more than he should, because when these zombies show up, he gives them the business, which of course on the outside, because the Hulk is in the engine room cranking it up on stage 4, this then takes the Starship Hulk to a whole nother level, and he just stands up in the middle of these lasers that were just tearing him up a few seconds ago. And the likeness of this is just something that this President Ross has just never seen, but with Starship Hulk just walking through the US Army. The Banner of that world is just watching the Hulk do work, and it's here while he's watching where he gets radioed by the president, who tells him to make this thing stand down and turn yourself in. And if he doesn't after the count of 10, then Ross is gonna toss Banner's star pupil out of the back of the dropship right in the middle of all this chaos. In this Banner, he tries to plead with the president because he didn't make the Starship Hulk. Neither is he in control of that Hulk. So at this point, it's like President Ross is asking him to do something that he just cannot do. And at this point, like, we definitely know that this President Ross, he's not bluffing. He starts counting down from 10, and we know that without a shadow of a doubt that this guy, he would actually do it. Like, this dude literally bombed the world. Like, what's shooting one star pupil? Like, that guy's a monster. But while this is happening, Banner, he quickly tries to reach out to Captain Banner to get him to stop fighting. But mind you, even still, this is all happening during the countdown from 10. So like, there's no way that that Banner could have gotten all the words out unless he was just twisted from the shy, because you gotta be talking pretty fast to get it all out that quick. But nonetheless, this Banner tried, and President Ross still dropped this kid from the dropship. And at this point, Captain Bruce, he's still trying to figure out like what's going on. He's asking Bruce why does he want him to stop fighting, what's happening, what's going on. And even at this point, he sees the US Army fall back, and it's here where Dr. Bruce just cuts him off and says they killed him. And as it turns out, the kid that the president had dropped, his name was Peter. And on this world, Peter was one of Bruce's research students, and to this Bruce, Peter was like a son. But also on this world, Peter had also been bitten by a radioactive spider, but in this case, that radiation had been induced by Dr. Bruce Banner. But while he's telling all this to Captain Banner and more or less mourning Peter while he's explaining all this, Bruce also lets Captain Banner know that back when Peter was bitten by this radioactive spider, for some time Bruce had been working on a way to cure Peter. But with hearing all this, Captain Banner's kind of like, okay, as he turns around and just looks up, and he asks Dr. Bruce a question that he pretty much already knows the answer to at this point. But he asks Bruce, like, what kind of radiation was in that spider? As he turns around and sees this gamma radiated Spider Hulk just completely towering over the Starship Hulk, which lets him know, one, that this Peter is very much not dead, but then two, this next fight finna be something serious. Cause looking at this Peter, I don't even want to know where his webs are coming from. And so now real quick, I want to give a special shout out to all the patrons. Thank you guys for all of your support. And for anyone who's new here who wants more information on how to support the channel, I got a link below where you can go to patreon.com/dopespill. But that'll do it for this one, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and we'll do it again on the next one. Alright, later.